Been playing a lot of that Daemon X Machina. In case you don't know what that is, it's a game that came out on Switch, and it's basically just like your pretty average mech game. A lot of people compare it to Armor Core, which like I never played any because I'm just not familiar with it. I guess I love mechs. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not huge into mechs. I'm the first like real big mech game I guess I played was, oh man, it was a free to play one that people thought it was gonna like take over the online world. I forget what it was, like Warhawk, Hawk, and that's what it was. Either way, played it for a little bit, thought it was okay, but Daemon X Machina is 1,000 times better than that. I'd say it's really good, but it also has some really big faults. And it's if you've played anything like a God Eater, I guess it has a similar mission structure to that, where it's like your character gets like a rank, and then under those ranks there's like certain missions, and then you accept the mission and you go to this small little area, like a little like arena, and you do the mission and you leave. Like, it's really what it is. And part of my bigger problems, I guess, with the game, the game is fine in itself. Believe me, if you want a good mech game, definitely pick up Daemon X Machina. It's good. My bigger issue, though, is the way that they're handling DLC, and the biggest issue was the first day, right? Day one, boot up the game, and in the menu, it says like new game options, and then it says Nintendo eShop, and I'm like, why does it want me to go to the eShop? I bought the game. So I'm like, okay, out of curiosity, I will click on the eShop. And that's where it happened. Now, granted, look, for some, whatever reason, every game nowadays has to sell you cosmetic items. You can no longer earn them in game. You just have to buy them, right? And who knows? If here's the problem. If it's a free to play game, I have no problem maybe throwing it $1 or $2 for some fancy looking cosmetics, because I mean the game's free, right? But Daemon X Machina is a full priced AAA Nintendo first party, whatever you want to call it, game, right? It's made by the studio called Marvelous, who people have some problems with, and I kind of see why. And so either way, like I see the eShop stuff, right? And it's like immediately it's just pure cosmetics, which isn't so bad, but at the same time, it's like these are obviously in the game, and you're not letting me unlock them, because I don't know if they were there day one, but they've added a lot more cosmetic skins and such. And the characters in the game have like unique haircuts or unique hats or goggles or something that makes them have a character design. And you think like, oh, that's actually a really cool haircut. I wish I could use that character's haircut. Well, it's 99 cents. Yep, that's right, it's $1. But hey, maybe you want to get the bundle, so then that way you don't have to pay 99 cents for every single one. I think now at this point, I was looking at it yesterday. At this point, there's so much DLC for that game. I think you could spend almost $30 on how much DLC. And I guess that's if you buy them individually, right? The whole thing is that they try to put this bundle, right? So then that way they're like, hey, you want all these cosmetic items, buy this bundle. So then technically you're not paying more than you should, but you're also giving us a good chunk of change. And it's just like, come on, man. Like, part of me is like, okay, like I get it. You got to make a buck, right? Everyone's got to make a buck. But when I'm paying $60 for your game and I can beat it in less than a day, and there's no other new content other than just like repeatedly doing missions online, and that's sort of what it is, like, make your game more fun before you start nickel and diming me for everything you can get out of me. Like, I don't know, it's ridiculous. And the problem with this too is that, okay, so in the game Daemon X Machina, right? I gotta say it again just in case somebody doesn't know what I'm talking about. In Daemon X Machina, your pilot character who drives around the mech, right? He can get, or he or she or whatever, your pilot can get augmentations. And these augmentations make your character look more robotic. You can, it's like a whole thing of like keeping your humanity or giving into the machine or something. Who cares? Either way, you get these augmentations and they completely ruin the look of your character. Like, if you get fully augmented, you look nothing like your character. Your character doesn't have skin anymore. Your character doesn't have hair. So there goes those cosmetics. Your character can't have your little, like, gas mask or your little hat. So why am I paying for cosmetics I can't use? And so you might be saying, well, then don't buy the augmentations. But the problem is the augmentations help you become a better pilot and give bonuses to your mech. So if you want to do the most damage, or you want to have better stamina, or you want to, this or that, like, if you want added benefits, you have to augment. But if you want to look cool, you can't be augmented. And it's just like, well, what is the balance there? Granted, the game is not hard at all. I guess you could say, you can argue you don't really need these augmentations, because never once did I fail. Like, the game is incredibly easy. I wish they added a hard mode or something. But, like, if you're just going to sell me DLC that I can't see because you have something in the game that makes me change the way my character looks into a robot, what is the point of selling me the DLC? Like, why are you selling me this? Another thing too is, look, I get it, like, costumes are cool and all, but when you have the arsenal or the mech, right? They're called arsenals in this game. When you have the arsenal skins on the eShop, right? What you're basically telling me is these are in the game, like, these armor pieces are in the game. We just don't allow you to loot them. We simply took them out of the loot pool and made sure to put them as DLC, so then that way you can't get them unless you pay us money. And look, I had no problem with that. Some people like skins, some people, it's whatever. But for you to actively take them out of the game, that's what frustrates me. Because supposedly the Daemon X Machina is getting DLC of franchise skins, right? Skins that are obviously from different franchises. People have been speculating Evangelion, Gundam, Macross, stuff like that. I think Eva Unit 1 would be really cool. I really do like Eva Unit 1 as a design. That's another problem, though, is in this game, the customization, while it is nice, right? It is really nice. The problem is if you look at the mechs, the arsenals or whatever, they have this distinct, like, orange reddish glow to them. And it's part of, like, they have this thing called femto, and it's in their reactor, and that's why it's that color. But the problem is you can't change that color. So say you want to make your arsenal, I don't know, like, red and purple or something. I don't know. Or, like, you want to make it like an Ava, because I saw a few people making it like Ava Unit 1 or Ava Unit 2. And say you want to make them look like that, right? The problem is that these like red lines, these like red orange lines, these like exhaust pipes and stuff like that, they're just so contrasting and so bright. I wish you could change them or turn them off or something, but no, you just can't. And so it clashes with a lot of, like, the color designs. Also, some of the color choices are just, like, they look gross. Like, I don't know how else to explain it. But again, that's just me. I don't know. I would say go visit the subreddit, because there's actually some really helpful people there on there, and people posting their designs and wanting fixes for the game. There was a huge problem. Recently they added PvP, and there was a huge problem with people spamming this item that gives you health. So they would just, like, wait out the timer and then just spam it, and they win the match. And it was a whole thing. PvP is okay, but it's like that should have been there with launch. Like, push back the game and then make sure PvP is there, because they added PvP. It was fun for like a day or two, and then it's like, okay, well, I mean, there's nothing really else to this game. And the problem is that there's really interesting and cool ideas. Like, there's certain weapons, they have fin funnels, right? If you know anything about Gundam, there's fin funnels. There's fin funnels in Daemon X Machina. They're not very good, but they look really cool. So, I mean, there's that. There's also, like, this crazy, like, gravity gun that shoots out like a black hole. There's, like, these cool looking SMGs I'm using. Like, I don't know. There's cool designs and, like, interesting ideas, but there's a very hollow game there. Like, I don't know, it just feels so hollow, especially in the hub area and, like, the garage or whatever the heck you are. It's just like this. empty, hollow place where it's like, well, why even have this here? Just put me in a menu. Stop making me go and load this world every single time to go do a mission. And, maybe a little bit more maps would be good. I would say add a few more maps. Granted, they do the whole thing that every game does nowadays where like you pay for it and then you give it even more money with its DLC, and then it finally releases a roadmap and is like, hey, so in 6 months, when the game is finally going to be good, this is all the content that will be added. And it's like, just push the game back. Just push it back. Honestly, I don't want to pay for a game now and then wait almost a year for it to be better. What is the point then? And you might be saying, well, then, just wait the year. But obviously, I didn't know. Nobody knew. Nobody I knew that the game was going to be so hollow and that future content was coming that was actually supposed to be part of the game. Like, I don't know. It's just like, it makes me realize that I never made a mistake in supporting a lot of indies. At this point, I'm more than willing to pay for indie games than actual like AAA games, because it's just like you buy the game and then they're like, all right, in a year this game will be better and practically finished, so just stick around, buddy. And I'm just like, I don't want to. Like, I just don't want to. But the problem is too, Daemon X Machina has really good gameplay. It has really good mech gameplay, and I like it. There's also like this weird, like, it doesn't feel like it was really meshed well together with the mechs. There's this weird, like, you as a pilot outside of the mech, and you like run around and you have this little drone thing that shoots people. Like, it doesn't feel that great. And apparently in the roadmap update thing, they have said that they're going to add more missions for you as a pilot. I'm just like, why? Who's asking for that? Nobody wants that. Like, in a mech game, nobody wants to play as a lame pilot who can't do anything and dies in like 4 hits. Like, nobody wants to do that. I don't know. I guess I'm not a game developer, so I have no idea. It's just me screaming into the void, I guess, about like, why aren't you making the game better, kind of thing. Like, that's me, I guess. I don't know. Bosses are fun. There's really cool weapons. There's some cool mech designs. There's some cool ones, but you have to pay for them, which really sucks. That's another thing, is that like, usually with like a loot-based RPG-ish game, I don't know what you call it these days, there's the ability to like transmogrify, right? Is that the term, transmogrify? Where like you'll have a armor set that looks really cool and you want to wear that armor set, but its stats suck. So then that way they give you the ability to put on, like the good stat armor, and then the visuals will be the actual like cool looking armor that you want. Unfortunately, Daemon X Machina does not have that. And the set that I'm using, while it doesn't look the coolest, it also doesn't look the lamest. It's just like, there's this really cool set called, I believe, Swordbreaker, right? It's a cool armor set called Swordbreaker that I definitely want to use. But the stats suck, man. They suck so much. I was like, why? Why do you got to make the stats suck? I don't know. The game is pretty easy, so I guess it wouldn't matter if my stats are really good, but either way, there's just some major problems. But I could still say, like, if you love mech games, like, you probably already bought this at this point, but if you're like on the fence, I would say definitely pick it up. It's very, like, it's just very fun, very satisfying mech gameplay. Outside of the mech, it's pretty janky and clunky as the pilot, but other than that, there's some really good bosses, there's some really good weapons, there's some cool designs. I don't know, I like it, but I'm also biased. I like mechs, I can't deny it.